were your results besides the wallet just falling on the floor and being empty?
You take it, and then you immediately get you get harder, bigger, fuller, just everything.
I've been searching for it for 15 years, and then I found a local guy, so I bought I bought a lot. Vigorous podcast. Today I'm joined with Rowan Fritz. Finally, we made it happen. We met at the Mr. Olympia, and we know about each other for a very long time. Like, I followed your career, and apparently you watch my YouTube channel too. So this is like a match made in heaven. How have you been, man?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's really cool.
Anytime.
I told my
It's
wife.
good to meet.
I told my wife I'm gonna be on the Vigorous. I'm gonna be on a podcast with Vigorous Steve, and she's like, oh, "I've heard of him. I've heard it."
Oh no. She probably hears me playing in the background, you know. Like a lot of wives and girlfriends hear me in the background when the guys are cooking meals and doing dishes and stuff and preparing their steroid injections. They listen to Vigorous Steve. It's hilarious. I didn't see your wife. Your wife didn't come to the Mr. Olympia, right? Like, we met there.
She was there, but she just didn't come to the athletes meeting.
Okay. So how was your Olympia weekend? I mean, we met at the athletes meeting. It was a lot of fun. You thought there was going to be no line for you, but a lot of people showed up, right? That was pretty cool to see.
I told Chase, come by. It's nobody going to show up for me anyways. We can talk the whole time. And then we were barely able to talk because, there
was a huge line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had to queue up just to say hi to you, which is good. It's good to see, right? I mean, that's why you go to the meet and greet to meet all the fans and all the people can finally talk to you. And usually what I do is I meet people in line when I'm trying to meet pros, so I can entertain them a little bit because they also follow me. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. So how many people showed up for your at the meet and greet?
I don't know. I didn't count, but quite a few. It was good.
Right. And how did the rest of the weekend go? I mean, you didn't make top 10, right, for the Mr. Olympia?
I was 14th, but it was my first.
14th.
It was my first Olympia, and my goal was to place amongst the top 15. Because
so that's good.
As you know, first 15 place get placed, and then everyone else gets 16th.
Yes, Dina, that did not place. Yeah, DNP. I know. That always feels pretty rough because then you don't know where you stack up. And of course, you can ask the head judge, but it's better to place like you did, like when you're 14th. And then, I mean, keep in mind some of the greats, they ended up at, the third call out, like Jay Cutler, Ronnie Coleman. I mean, they started reasonably low at the ranking, and then they slowly moved their ways up, So at least you made a little bit of an impact. And then how did the rest of the weekend go?
Honestly, it was more stressful than I thought because you have to be there. Then you have to be there. Then you have to be the tank. You have to carb up. You have to be at the athletes meeting. You have to be at the Meet the Olympians. You have to be at the whatever. And it's just driving back and forth, going to the gym, and then shaving and. Man,
it's nonstop.
Yeah,
it's nonstop.
Some guys even have to work the expo for their sponsor. I didn't, but and then people always come, oh, why do they not show up in shape? It's because they've been torn out of their lives since Tuesday before the show.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they've been running around for 5 days straight, and then the show is at 10 o'clock at night. And then you're supposed to be dry, hard, and everything, Yeah,
and most of the events are during the day, right? So even though the actual show, the prejudging and finals is in the evening, you have still obligations during the day. So it's not like you can sleep it off. I mean, I think the Mr. Olympia is the most demanding bodybuilding show out of all of them. The Arnold Classic is on one day, the Ironman and New York Pro is on one day. That Ironman is now New York Pro. And all the other shows are just one-day shows, but the Mr. Olympia, it's something else. So, and even then, I mean, you showed up fucking peeled. I think you were the most conditioned guy in the show.
Yeah, that's not the issue. It's just how I am.
Yeah, it's just Roman, right? That's Roman. No, but all in all, I mean, how many shows did you do? Like six,
I
seven
did
this year?
10.
10. Holy shit! No wonder you were so tired at the end, huh?
I swear, man, in Prague, and then topped it off with Japan,
Hmm.
with the 12-hour flight and
Yeah,
layover, and in Turkey and all that. I
yeah.
was like, I was the highest weight I was competing at was 122
Hmm.
kilos, and
Yeah.
in Japan I was like 113.
Oh, you dropped 10 kilos, huh, since then. Oh man, yeah. Then you're really depleted. Yeah, and then of course, now you gotta start your off season and kind of get your metabolism back. But I mean, it's surprising that you did so many shows this year. And a couple shows you got really a lot of love and respect from the judges, and then other shows they didn't place you, even though you did look better, which was weird to me.
Yeah, to me,
Um, yeah, at least you made it to the Olympia and you got some points this time. So for next year, you don't have to go through such an exhaustive competition season again, or do you want to hit all the shows again? Like, what's your
no,
plan?
because I just got the other hip replacement
Hmm.
2 weeks after. No, actually, I think 10 days after Japan. So 10 days after the
Hmm.
last show, I
Right.
got the right hip replaced finally.
Hmm.
And now that was today's day 13
Okay, 2 weeks. Right.
after the surgery, or day 12. Day 12. Today's
Hmm.
day 12. And I'm just, I don't know. It's going great.
Hmm.
Awesome. Okay, recovery is going awesome. I've already
Right.
been in the gym numerous times. I've trained legs twice
Oh.
already.
Oh wow. Okay. Holy shit.
I've even done
Can't stop.
hack squat,
Uh,
Smith machine squat, all that. Everything works. Even
okay.
light,
Okay.
light RDL deadlifts, just
Hmm.
one plate aside, just to fill it out.
Yeah. Right. Lied. Get a little bit
Uh,
of pump.
and now I don't know when, because next time I want to show up better, of course.
Of course, yeah, and it takes some time to come back from a surgery like this and then build your muscle mass to an even better point than you had before. How did they go in? I mean, they went in from the side or from the top?
From the front, like between the lateralis and
Yeah,
the the intermedius, they didn't hurt anything. They just pushed it
separated,
apart.
right?
Yeah, and they told me it took 3 people to hold my leg and then pull on my leg, and
Of course.
yeah.
Oh my god. How long did it take? Like we were supposed to do our podcast like the day you got out of hospital, but it took so long, right, to clear you and driving
Yeah.
home and all that stuff.
So the whole procedure normally takes them 45 minutes, but I think they
Hmm.
had like an hour and 15 with me.
Okay. Hmm.
And then I had to stay in the hospital from Thursday till Sunday.
Hmm.
Sunday I got cleared, and then Monday I was back in the gym training
Of
chest.
course. You can't sit still, man. You got to move some blood around. I was the same. I had a surgery like over a decade ago for a motorcycle accident. I broke my leg.
Hmm.
And then as soon as I was cleared in the hospital and I was back in Holland, I think 2 weeks after the accident, I was already back in the gym. I mean, what are you going to do? That's our life. That's the way we have some enjoyment, even if it's lightweight, just a barbell or a Smith machine.
Just to be on the schedule,
Right.
because people, and I will probably be the same way, people get depressed from just lying around and feeling sorry for yourself.
It's for
You know,
sure. For the same here, man. Yeah, it's the same here. Right, and what else can you do? Play video games and watch YouTube? I mean, it gets boring after a while. So at least if you can go to the gym for maybe an hour and a half every day or a couple times a week,
hmm
at least you get your passion in, and then the rest of the time it's easier. Plus, I think it's good, to get some mobility, you remove a little bit of the inflammation, you get your blood flowing, right, and you don't get into that sarcopenia state where because of immobility, all your muscle is just going to say, fuck you, I'm out. And then you just shrink every single day. I mean, that would be the worst scenario.
Yeah, I do the recumbent bike now also,
Mm-hmm.
an hour a day on level
Mm-hmm.
1,
Wow.
just to move the hip joint,
Right.
move the hip joint. And
Right.
everyone, my physical therapist, everyone is telling me, man, this is so amazing how fast your swelling is going away.
Yeah.
And
Moving
and then
around.
like, because I move,
Yeah.
you know, I move it, and that's why it's going away.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
you
other
activate the
people,
lymphatic system that way, and then all the inflammation and the white blood cells and stuff, and all the fluid can just be dispersed. So I think that's the best way to do it, even if it hurts a little bit. Plus, I think there was when I broke my leg, I read some papers that movement and vibration is actually very good to heal bones.
hmm
Alongside growth hormone, that is. Um, so what is your recovery stack right now? Are you all are on all the good stuff?
yeah, I'm doing basically what you said in the Tendons of Steel
Uh-huh, yeah.
video with
Uh-huh.
the like growth hormone and TB 500 and BPC 157.
Hmm.
And I'm also doing DECA and
Yeah.
test.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All the good stuff for collagen since any Anavar and GHK copper in there?
No, because I've taken all the orals in
All
prep.
right.
I figured I'm just gonna remove all the liver stress
Yeah.
because I still have to take ibuprofen.
Ah, right, of course. Yeah.
And the thing is, it's not that I can take the ibuprofen for pain if I want to. I have to take it to prevent
Mm.
ossification.
Right. Yeah.
They told me you take this for 3 weeks, 3 times a day. It doesn't matter if it hurts or not, because
Hmm.
we don't want the joint to calcify.
Tighten up, yeah, and tighten up, yeah.
Mhm.
That's very true. Yeah, and the problem is if you take oral steroids and the non-steroidal inflammatory drugs, it's not so good for your stomach lining. And of course, if you get acid reflux and stuff, then I know you burn yourself up from the inside. So you feel very, very uncomfortable, and then your digestion is off, and then you don't absorb protein properly, right? So I get it. I totally get it. Yeah, so
And then I,
that sounds like a good stack. I mean, I think it will work quite well.
I have a cool doctor. He gave me, diclofenac.
Oh,
That's
diclofenac. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
diclofenac, but in ampules to inject.
Oh, you have a very
Yeah.
generous doctor. That's not easy to come by.
He said like, you obviously know how to take an injection yourself.
You look like
Like,
you know how to inject. It's good if you find a good doctor, though. I mean, they're so rare, so hard to come by, and especially in Europe. I mean, I don't know how it is in Germany, but in Holland, it's almost impossible to find really qualified doctors. And there's a couple out there, right, that help with the research and stuff. They're interested in pharmacology, but there are not many good guys out there that are really willing to help bodybuilders.
yeah, for some reason, since I'm somewhat famous, I guess,
Uh huh.
with
Yeah.
bodybuilding, uh, I've met a few cool orthopedic surgeons and people that
Okay.
are interested in bodybuilding stuff, and they always, they like to talk to me on Instagram, and then this guy, he hooked me up with his boss. His boss
Mm-hmm.
did the surgery, and he was
Okay.
assisting, and then he hooked me up with a nice room in the hospital and all that. That was good.
Oh, you got the VIP treatment then. That's great.
Mhm.
So the IFBB Pro card is paying off.
Yeah,
That's for
finally.
sure. Yeah. So like with German bodybuilding, we have Marcus Rule, right? We have Günther Schliedkamp, Dennis Wolf. You belong now in the elite group of German bodybuilders. We have Urs Kalsinski. Let me see if I forgot
Mhm.
anybody. Let me see. Dennis Wolf. Oh, David Hoffman also, but I'm not sure if he's retired right now. And Ronnie Rockel, who is retired. Like
Then we
how's
had
the German bodybuilding scene now?
we also had Roland Gillock,
Okay.
remember
Mm-hmm.
him, and Yusuf Vilkosh. He placed third in the Olympia. He was the first
Really?
German. Yeah,
Which year was that?
1980 something.
Oh,
He
it's
had
a
the
long
full
time
beard.
ago. Oh,
Yeah,
really? Okay. No, I can't
yeah,
remember. I remember Marcus Rule. That was when I started getting interested in bodybuilding. I used to see Marcus Rule and make everybody look small. I'm like,
of
how in the hell is
course.
this possible? how are these biceps so big? Good stuff. And it seems that bodybuilding is incredibly popular in Germany, because here in Thailand we have a boatload of German bodybuilders that moved over. And it seems that, when I follow the bodybuilding shows, and when I used to go to FIBO Germany, when they still had the IFBB Pro shows, it was huge expo.
Yeah.
A lot of people, a lot of bodybuilders, and even the German bodybuilders would come over to Holland to the Dutch bodybuilding shows. So when we had an IFBB Pro competition in 2006, after Jay Cutler won, a lot of Germans came over to watch that IFBB Pro show. Yeah, that's where I saw Jay Cutler and Ronnie Coleman for the first time, and Hidetari Yamagishi. And so there was always a lot of moving back and forth between Holland and Germany to the various bodybuilding shows. Very, very good. But now FIBO's no longer has a pro show, and I can't remember when the last time there was a Dutch show, a Dutch IFBB show.
I wish I would be in it. I would definitely do it. The only ones that hold up the flag for the European shows, like locally, are the Czechs. Prague Pro.
Yeah, Prague
it's pretty
Pro,
much
right.
every year.
Yeah, and then you have Arnold Classic in UK, and that's about it.
And of course, Emilio, that's the sponsor, Emilio Martinez. He does all the Spain shows. I think he did 3 pro shows this year, open.
Oh, wow.
And I met him at the Olympia, and I was like, man, how many shows have you promoted this year? 28? And he's like, he looks at his assistant. It's like, how many shows have we done this year? And the assistant just goes, 37.
That's every weekend. That's crazy. Yeah, it's like Tamer Ogundi and his brother. I mean, it's like they're involved in every show. It's amazing. Yeah. So, and these guys, they really go all over the world. I mean, we have to, because they put up the prize money and the sanction fee, and it's a huge undertaking, right? So you'd rather have a couple of guys that are able to do that and have the experience.
Especially with the amateur shows, when you have like 5,000 people competing.
Yeah. Even here in Thailand, when they have IFBB amateur shows, I mean, it's a mess. And then especially here in Asia, I mean, half of these competitors, they don't speak any English. So you say quarter turn, and half of them, they just stand there. Yeah, so you have, so most guys in the audience, they start moving around to show the poses. I used to do the same thing at the World Championships, because I was coaching, bodybuilders all over Asia, and some of them, they barely spoke English, and I couldn't hear what the announcer was saying. So I would stand in the middle of the audience, just doing the poses that they should be doing, to give them instructions, because they couldn't hear, they didn't understand, but they could see me clearly, because I was one of the bigger guys in the audience. Like, all the real big guys were backstage. So this is kind of how you give instructions to your, to the amateurs. Yeah, it's good times. Good times.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've competed in the World Championships before as well. That was good, but so much of a hassle with the 2 days and all that. The Olympia, really.
Yeah. I mean, it's at the Mr. Olympia or the IFBB Elite World Championships or WBPF. I mean, it's multi-day shows, and it's a tremendous strain on the athlete, right? And especially if you do multiple classes, because some of the athletes.
Some people do multiple classes, right? They go on stage like 5 times.
Yeah. Fucking crazy. And I wonder why they're cramping by the 5th round. Good stuff. Yeah, good stuff. So for the rest of the year, you're kind of done, just recovering, and then slowly try to build your way back up to see what the next round of competitions is. The good thing is you have a lot of time for your YouTube channel now.
That's right. I do a video every day.
Every day? Wow. That's good, man. And the algorithm loves that.
Like, like Rich Piana, Bigger by the Day style. So I'm on day 12 now with the hip, and then it's day 13, 14, 15. I shoot something every day, like a training session, meals, and people can follow that.
Yeah, people love that stuff, the vlogging stuff from athletes. I mean, it does very well.
So everyone can follow.
Yeah, and it's in English now, right? Yeah, because before you used to have a YouTube channel in German, but are you doing now both, a German YouTube channel and an English YouTube channel?
I just do the English videos on top of the German videos. So the vlog is in English,
Yeah.
so everyone can understand it. And then like extra videos, so to speak,
Hmm.
are in German, and also depends a little bit on the topic.
Right.
If I do a
Yeah.
Q&A, I always ask, I'd always do an English Q&A and then a German Q&A.
Hmm.
And then I do two videos where I only answer the English questions, another
Right.
one where I only German questions. And I do a podcast with my wife
Hmm. Yeah. I've seen
every
that
week.
one.
Yeah, and of course we speak German because it's
Right.
fucking weird if you speak to your wife or with your wife in English. You
Yeah, I
know?
do that, but my wife doesn't speak any Dutch, and I barely
Yeah,
speak any
of
Thai, so
course.
we communicate in English,
Yeah.
and that's what we're used to. But yeah, if, of course, if you're talking for a YouTube channel for a video, then it might be a little bit weird. Yeah. So
Hmm.
man, you're doing double content. So you're a full time YouTuber now. Congrats, dude. Welcome to the club.
Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome to the
Thank
club.
you.
Yeah, it's like me and Paul and Chase and Fawad are all full time YouTubers, and then we have some extra businesses on the side. So, I mean, your channel is obviously growing, right? You get a good amount of views. I mean, off camera, we're talking a little bit about sponsorships and stuff. Like a lot of people want to know how IFB pros actually make money, because it seems that some guys are doing exceptionally well, and some guys are barely scraping by. Right. And
So
some guys, a lot of guys, they go all in the amateur, right? Because they think they're turning pro, that the magic door of finance is going to open, and then suddenly they're making a boatload of money, which also doesn't seem to be the case. So can you give us a little bit of insight, like the entrepreneurial back end of the business when you have your pro card, what it takes?
so first of all, and that was a lesson taught to me by Ed Connors of
Hmm.
Gold's
Okay.
Gym.
Yeah.
He said, you gotta have a personality. You know, you have a personality.
Right.
Chase has a personality.
Right.
I have a personality.
Hmm.
Antoine Vaillant has a
Oh
great
yeah.
personality.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's the people that make money on the internet.
Right.
If you're only going, if you're Dorian Yates,
Hmm.
if you want to be Dorian Yates, it doesn't work anymore like that.
No, I
You
agree.
can't
Yeah.
just you can't just train in your basement,
Hmm.
show up once a year, and then expect sponsors to pay you tens of thousands of dollars each month for
I,
3 photo
I,
shoots after the Olympia, and that's it.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but did Dorian
Yeah,
have any sponsorships at that time?
yeah,
Like,
he
I
was
don't
with
even.
Weeder.
I was with,
He was
yeah,
with
of course, yeah, that was with the magazine, yeah, but any supplement sponsor or other sponsors? Like right now, there's so many more sponsors compared to before, but I always wonder how these old pros without social media actually made real money.
Yeah, they were most of them were Weeder,
Hmm. Yeah, those were good contracts. Yeah.
and then they were
Right.
popular,
Hmm.
and those were, yeah, that was it basically.
Yeah, I
Most
think.
of the,
Go ahead.
I mean, there were only like 10 or 15 guys that were popular at
Right.
all.
Hmm.
So they all had Weeder contracts, and back then Weeder was magazine and supplements.
Right. True. True. Yeah, I think the one that I really saw maximize the monetization part of being a pro was Jay Cutler. Right, he would find revenue streams everywhere. You'd have sponsors and some side business, some real estate, some weed selling. Right, being the medical marijuana stuff. He would just get involved in everything, which I highly respect. Right, I mean the business still needs to continue because bodybuilding is super expensive. It's a very
And
expensive sport.
when he made his first checks with bodybuilding, he immediately bought real estate.
Yeah, yeah, it's very smart. Yeah, because you gotta
Yeah,
invest and then flip it later on.
yeah.
Because when you get such a
So
sum of money, you don't need it right away unless you have some bills. You're a little bit behind. But in most cases, when you get a big sum of money, it's better to invest it, and then it will come back with dividends, right? Making a nice fat profit on top of that, and when you sell it at a later point. So how are you managing that side of the bodybuilding journey?
so I've got since I have a personality,
Yeah.
I have a supplement sponsor,
All right.
and they pay me, and then I also get good, what's it called, when they order stuff through your code.
Yeah, commissions. Yeah.
Commissions, exactly, that was the
Yeah.
word. So what they pay me a month, same amount I get in commissions for selling. Yeah. So I get double salary every month.
Exactly. Yeah. So you have your base salary for being involved as an athlete, right? It has certain obligations, going to the booth, doing photo shoots, marketing products. And then because you also have an affiliate code, right, you get a 10% or 20% commission on affiliate sales. And yeah, affiliate sales, I mean, that's how all the influencers are doing very well right now, more so than most bodybuilders. It's because they have a personality and they're always in a good mood and always producing content. And the bodybuilders are kind of like, I'm tired. I got to prep, no content. They disappear for 3 months, but it's 3 months of sales that they're losing. But you're not doing that at all. So that's good to see.
I force myself.
Yeah.
Every day I'm thinking, I don't want to do a fucking story again. And then I just pick up the phone, put on a smile, and I'm like, what's up, guys? Good morning, blah, 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 blah. I'm just taking my NAC, and my curcumin and my whatever I'm taking.
Right.
I'm doing cardio, pre-workout this, post-workout this. Yeah, but it's because it's what I'm really doing. But it is just fucking tiresome to do it on video all the time.
I know. Tell me about it.
But
you just still got to get it done, though. It's work. That's how you get paid.
But that's how you get paid. Exactly. Yeah. You don't want to do it. I mean, then I always think, well, someone else is not getting up at whatever the time they want to. Someone else is going to the actual workplace.
That would be way worse.
And do shit they don't want to do.
And they won't make from your single sponsor being employed. Right. I mean, the salaries that affiliate sales can generate are actually quite good. Several $1,000s per affiliate, and that's why the market is a little bit saturated right now, because everybody wants a piece of that pie, but not everybody has a personality and something, that to bring to the table that sets you apart from other people. Like, you've always been like super honest about everything, which is fucking rare. Like, I can be honest, right, because I don't have a pro card to lose. And Chase and Paul, all these guys, we try to educate about steroids. But you've been one of the few pros who actually talks about steroids openly, what you do, what you take, what mistakes you made. And I think a lot of people highly appreciate that, because, getting a pro card and being a part of that elite little club, that seems to be very cliquey sometimes, right? Whatever is being discussed in the group of bodybuilders, pro bodybuilders, is not leaving the group. But you're just saying, like, yeah, I do this, I do that, and it doesn't seem to affect, anything. If anything, it helps your personality and career.
Yeah, and by the way, another income stream here. I do consultations and coaching.
Okay, smart. Yeah.
And since then, actually, people have bought consultation, like 30 minutes, 60 minutes, just to confirm this is really the truth. This is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't believing whatever the hell this guy said. 500 milligrams. Yeah. And you're saying this is how it goes, and I'm like, yeah, this is the way it's done.
Yeah.
And then
and it's better. It's better that you say it instead of me, a guy that sees the blood work and also does consultations with IFBB pros. Like, I can't really say what some of the people that I talk with do, right? Because that's their business, not mine. I just try to keep them healthy. But if you say it and you have a pro card and you look fucking shredded and fucking big, then it adds a lot of credibility, to what you're saying. And of course, it's also a wake-up call for people, because, it's always been speculated that some pros take, high dose, quote unquote, high dosages, right, compared to general population. But yeah, that's just what goes on. And of course, 500 milligrams, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's probably not going to turn you pro.
and yeah, and I've said that to Chase in
Mhm.
his podcast, on his podcast. It's like, I don't even know why people are lying, because it's a number.
It
If
undermines hard
everyone,
work. I mean,
if everyone, but if everyone from the beginning
mhm,
had said, whatever, 4 times the number everyone is saying,
mhm.
yeah, it would be normal by
True.
now. It
Yeah.
would be, because no one would have heard, oh, I'm taking 10 milligrams of Tren every other day. Like, no, you're
No, you're
not.
not.
Uh,
No, maybe 10 milligrams every hour. And even then, it's a modest dose because, I mean, some guys take 200 milligrams per day, you know? I mean, it's
yeah,
not that it's something I
but
would recommend, but.
I've heard someone say that,
Mhm.
on a podcast,
Yeah.
and I was like, no, you're not. You don't even know how to measure 10 milligrams of Tren.
Probably not.
It's like,
No, it's fun. It's funny. It's funny how that goes. Yeah, but I think a lot of pros, of course, they're under contract, right? And if you start talking about drugs, maybe that the guy that pays your bills doesn't like it. We all have that famous story
my
of
sponsor,
yeah.
my sponsor does drug content on his
Oh,
YouTube.
there you
The
go. Oh,
company.
that's a perfect match then. That's a perfect match. Yeah, but a lot like Muscle Tech, for example, they would fire people for talking about steroids.
Mhm.
I mean that what was his name? That model that openly spoke about taking
Ah,
clenbuterol and
yeah.
steroids in Bigger, Stronger, Faster, the documentary
Mhm.
by Chris Bell. I mean, he got fired. He lost his contract. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people were hesitant, and nowadays it doesn't really seem to matter because everybody can make money online. You don't really need contracts because like magazine contracts or some of these supplement contracts that are super against it. Because I think nowadays, like Gorilla Mind, my supplement company, like Derek operates that. He's been open about steroid use and educational for years now, and so am I. So you don't have to be. I think if anything, it just adds more credibility that yes, this is what's going on, and if you turn pro, then this might be required to proceed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And it's better if people know. I think it's better just if people know,
Yeah.
because they have to know what they're getting into.
Hmm. Yeah, it would be
You know?
horrible if you start on 500 milligrams and 10 milligrams of Tren per day, right? 70 milligrams a week, and then you can't even get to the national level, and then you just feel a little bit jaded. Like I thought this is what was required. No, I mean the biggest I ever got was like on 2,500 milligrams a test. You know, so and
Mhm.
and that's even consider moderate for some pros. Now I've done blood work consultations with pros that wrote me their cycle, and their blood work looks pretty representative of that dose. So it's like 2,000, 2,500 milligrams. But of course, these are pros that are a little bit more seasoned and don't need to gain so much more muscle mass. So they just run enough, because in the past they might have done like a 4-gram cycle with a boatload of growth hormone and whatever else. But I realized, like, okay, in order to make improvement, I don't need so much additional growth or additional steroids. I'd rather stay healthy and focus on these little things, because I think we all go through that process where we think more is better. And then as we get older, we learn how to optimize every little thing. And then they realize you can get away with a smaller dose. So as we're talking about dosages, like I know you talked about this a little bit with Chase, but like what have you been seeing going around in your immediate circle, and what would you be willing to do yourself, like for a pro show like the Mr. Olympia? Like what kind of cycle goes into the Mr. Olympia?
So, like, for example, when we're talking about Tren,
Mm.
I haven't taken any Tren this year, the whole
Okay.
year.
Wow.
Did the prep, no
I'm
Tren.
disappointed. No.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, sorry.
I've done all the other shit, but I haven't taken any Tren.
So why did you take the Tren out?
I got high blood pressure,
Yeah.
too high from my liking.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, every time I tried taking it again,
Mm-hmm.
I got water retention.
Yeah, can cause an inflammatory response.
Like immediately.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. 2 days in,
Mm-hmm.
3 days in, I can see how my ankles swole up,
Mm-hmm.
and I was super dry, and I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna top it off with a little bit of Tren.
Yeah.
And then I look worse.
Oh.
I'm like, fuck this.
And it's the same brand
I
of the
look
other.
worse.
Yeah, this is the same brand of the
Yeah.
other stuff that you're using. So it's not like bad carrier oil or something else.
And I even tried 3 different companies.
Oh wow, and
You know?
still watery.
And I tried different esters. I tried everything. I was like, fuck this.
Yeah.
I look good, and you know, I just stick to the.
I think at one point you don't need it. You know, I mean, I recently had a podcast with Nal Naiga, and I told him, said, listen, the weird thing about Tren is that, you know, as you get more seasoned, more muscle maturity, a lot of pros prefer to take it out because they feel horrible, and all the muscle is already. Yeah, and sometimes it makes you lose cuts because, I mean, the progestogenic activity, right, thickens the skin a little bit, and then you need to take more Mastrone or Winstrol to kind of thin it back up, because Winstrol can block the progesterone receptor to a certain extent. So it might be better in some seasoned pros like you, for example, to take it out and then cruise without it, so you don't feel so bad, and then you rely on the other stuff. I mean, it's not like you took the test out.
That's what I did.
Yeah. So
I did Mastrone, Winstrol, test,
yeah,
and then topped it off with injectable Superdrol.
Superdrol, yeah. And that's the last week or two before every show?
1 week or 2 weeks.
Yeah. Do you know what kind of oil that's brewed in? Like you said, in MCT oil or Migliol, or what kind of, do you know what kind of oil they use?
MCT.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that doesn't cause any issues. And what kind of dosages are we talking about? Like, everybody wants to know now, how much test, how much Mastro, and how much Winstrol.
I did in the off season I went way higher.
Of course, yeah.
But I had test was 250 every other day, so 875.
Yeah.
And it's in NSAID.
Yeah.
Then Mastron in NSAID 300 every other day, so that's 1,050.
Right.
Then I did Winstrol, also in oil.
Ah, okay. You have a good guy. You know a good guy.
So I did 100 every day. And then I added the Superdrol the last 2 weeks, and that was 50 every day.
Oh yeah, that's a high dose for injectable Superdrol, but of course it's required because at that point you're so depleted you need to fill back out.
But it's only been, like, imagine this: the shows were all, if there was 2 weeks, if there was a show, I would start a week out.
Yeah.
Then kind of load it.
Right.
Then I dropped it off again. Right. And most of the time this year there were either 3-week gaps or even 6-week gaps.
Ah, right.
Rarely there was only a 1 week, like Saturday and the next Saturday.
Right.
Then I would take it for
2 weeks in a row.
Then I would take it for 2 weeks. But all the other times I was taking it a week, and then I had 2 to 4 week breaks.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine, as long as you take care of your liver health, the TUTCA, and all the supplements, and then, you know, then of course after a while it starts to catch back up with you, because in the meantime, there you go. There you go, HEPA plus. There you go. So, so in the meantime, right, you're still in test, you're still Mastrone and still Winstrol, but these Superdrol is basically being cycled in and out.
And you can tell the difference, man, immediately.
Yeah.
It's like
I've used
2 shots. Even let's say I take it like in the morning, and then I train later, and I can see the difference. I don't know if I'm
no, you can see the difference,
but I can see the difference in the gym like immediately.
Yeah, and then 2 or 3 days into it, you're like, holy shit! Now I feel like a fucking freak again. Yeah, no, it works very fast. You would do it like 1 shot per day, or you split it up morning, evening?
I split it up. Yeah. Is this 25 milligrams per ml? Right.
And it's intramuscular or sub-Q?
I do intramuscular because I have a friend
Mm-hmm.
who did all his shit sub-Q
Mm-hmm.
and always in the stomach,
Oh no.
you know? And now he has like a fatty roll here,
Yeah.
and it doesn't dissipate anymore.
Oh really?
It's like it's there forever. It doesn't, because it's kind of got hard,
Uh-huh.
and he has like, it looks like a fat roll,
Uh-huh. Shit.
and it doesn't go away anymore.
So I've been doing all my shots sub-Q, like when I was still using steroids. I think I did a sub-Q steroid cycle for an entire year in my upper glutes. And that, of course, the upper glutes is already fatty for me, right? I don't get as shredded as you do. I mean, most people don't. So when I feel it now, I think it's just uniform, but I haven't injected anything sub-Q there for a year now. So maybe your friend will need some time off and maybe do some deep tissue massage therapy on that area.
Yeah, maybe that's the issue.
And otherwise,
because right now
yeah, go ahead.
he has like, literally looks like a fat roll.
Oh, shit.
Horrible.
Can you get like injectable choline, like the MIC blends, the methionine, inositol, and choline?
Oh, and that would dissolve it?
Yeah, that would probably, because the choline and the inositol will help with the triglyceride transport across the membrane, allowing it to be absorbed into systemic circulation.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's something you can look into. I think some of the gray area peptide websites in the United States sell that, but there's also pharmaceutical MIC blends out there. Maybe you can get that in Germany. Not sure. Yeah, that's what I would do if I because it seems to work quite well for like stubborn fat areas.
It looks horrible, man.
Oh, is it that bad? Is it like hanging over like a little fat pouch?
Yeah, you can grab it like that, you know.
Uh-huh.
And even
How
if
much
you
did he
get,
put in there?
yeah, like every day, like a little bit, you know.
Oh, okay.
And he even did the sides like this, so it's
Uh-huh.
like brrr.
Should call him the kangaroo.
Mm-hmm.
That's terrible. So you've done 10 shows, and the majority of the time you're on test, Masteron, and then cycling Winstrol and Superdrol in and out, right? So you hear a lot of people just taking cycles for the shows, but if the shows are 6 weeks to 2 weeks to 1 week apart, like that basically means that you're on cycle for months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I know, but like a lot of people don't realize it. Like, how do these pros do it when you do multiple shows? It just means that you're on cycle the majority of the time, and then you take like 3 months, 4 months of off completely, just to kind of detox. Okay, no. So what's the cruise? Like, give me a breakdown. What is a cruise for an IFBB pro? Is that a grab 500 or just the same shit?
So what I do right now after the hip replacement is I do 250 test. And no, more. I'm doing a third. So let's say I'm doing a third of a cc. That's like 83 milligrams.
Yeah, right.
Every other day.
Yeah.
And I do 50 of Deca every other day.
Yeah, it's about 350 per week. That's okay for your size.
Yeah.
I mean, like how many pounds are you right now? Like 290?
No, man. After the surgery this morning, I was 249.
Oh wow. Okay, so you dropped quite a bit, huh? Yeah. Okay.
That's the funny thing with me. After a show, I have to eat so much to keep my weight on.
That's right. Yeah, your metabolism is crazy. Yeah.
And then after the show, I'm like, oh, finally I can stop eating.
Yeah.
So I stop eating, and then I drop wherever I was. I drop another 10 pounds until I actually, and that's my cruise. My cruise is I eat less, I stress myself less, and I take less shit. Basically.
Yeah, but that's how it should be. I mean, that's how you kind of clean out. I mean, you take less pressure off you take the pressure off your intestinal tract from eating all the food, because you're eating what, a couple thousand calories every single day, right? Just as no, I know it's a full-time job, and then of course you're putting stress on your body with the steroids. So, I mean, that's what I tell most people. If you've done steroids for longer periods of time and you eat boatloads of food, just take all the stress out. You train less hard, you eat less, and you inject less. Right? Doesn't mean you have to stop everything, but it's just good to take a break. And plus, after 2 or 3 months, 4 months, you get all that motivation back. Like, you know what? I'm tired of being small, and I'm tired of training like a pussy, and I'm tired of not. I'm starting to get fucking hungry. So it's like it's cyclical. It's totally normal to go through that process, and then you're fired up again for an off season.
So actually, as you say that, yesterday morning was the first morning I woke up and I was like, man, I want to eat. I'm hungry.
Oh, wow.
I actually want to since December, since 1 year ago. No, actually longer. Since one and a half.
I thought it's after the Olympia, but it's like since the competition prep started.
Since 1.5 years ago. That was the first time that I thought, man, I'm hungry. I gotta eat something. And all that time, even in the hospital where the food was not so good, and I didn't eat I didn't eat at all. Like basically for the 4 days, I was like, I don't even have an appetite.
Yeah.
I don't want to eat. Thank God I don't even need anything, you know?
No, I mean, after a while, I mean, I was hardcore into bodybuilding for, I think, almost 20 years, so I got up to about 120 kilos off season. I mean, it's not crazy IFBB pro size, but I did get pretty big, and I ate just nonstop. You're eating like 5,500 calories, and just eating, and then taking naps, because all the carbs are making you sleepy, and training twice per day. I mean, it's great for making gains, but after a while, you just get so sick of it, and then you realize, like, wait, I need another 10 kilos, to be actually really big. Yeah, so I completely get it. After a while, you just need to take a vacation from it all.
So when my metabolism was really flying in prep, I was eating. I have my baseline protein amount, 500 grams. I gotta have 500 grams of protein.
Right.
And then I was eating between 1,200 and 1,500 carbs every day.
Jesus fuck.
And then some fat, but I couldn't do too much fat because otherwise I would be too full for the.
Yeah, it slows the digestion. Yeah.
So, and that was every day, man, every day. I calculated once, it was like 8,000 calories or something like that.
Yeah, no, that's insane. And then you're getting leaner probably.
Yeah, and then when I drop it, like for, let's say one day I'm like, oh, fuck this today, and I'm only having 800 carbs. Get up on the scale the next day, 3 kilos gone. Fuck.
Yeah, people don't get it. They think it's all about the injections, and of course the injections are part of the game. But I mean, that takes what, 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, preparing all your shots and doing the shots. It's the rest of the time is eating and training, and even training doesn't take as long as eating.
And the thing is, I wasn't taking any T4, any T3, any, other DNP, whatever.
Right.
It was just 1 clenbuterol in the morning.
Yeah.
And another one later in the day.
The 40 micrograms? 40 microgram tablet?
The 20s.
Yeah, the pharmaceutical 20 microgram. Yeah, so you take 40 in a day. Yeah, that's nothing.
But there's other people that take way more, but I don't need it. And then I'm like, oh, what am I supposed to do? I want to do the shows, but I have to keep up with the eating. That was the worst part.
Yeah.
The hardest part in prep was keeping up with the food. I've talked once to Jordan Peters.
Yeah.
And when he was really chasing size, he told me, yeah, man, I was the same way. Every morning when I woke up, I almost got an anxiety attack from the task ahead, from the eating.
Yeah. But like at that level, don't you do some liquid meals, like some high branch cyclic dextrins with essential amino acids, and you just sub that in between? So what is like the percentage of real food and like how many shakes and inter workout stuff do you take at this point? Because I can't imagine eating 1,500 carbs per day from rice. I mean, it's like almost 2
No,
kilos.
I did always a pre-shake and an intra-shake, and it was per training session, liquid, like 250. Not like it was 250 carbs liquid per training session. So there
Right.
goes 5.
Yeah, right.
Yeah? And then after training, I did do like gummy bears, and
Yeah. It's the only way you can get in. Yeah.
I had like either dextrose or rice syrup,
Right.
and just pour it on the rice I'm eating. And maybe I had like solid food was, that's an estimate, was always like 800 carbs, and then I ate 600 to 800 just liquid or
Wow.
easy digestible.
Right. Yeah, you have to, because it's impossible to get all that through. So a lot of people are now thinking about how maybe I should do what Roman Fritz has been doing so I can get super shredded. But I don't think it's going to work for the majority of the people. I mean, do you want to tell the story of how you got so super shredded when you were younger? Because I heard this on a Dave Palumbo podcast ages ago, and I found it fascinating. So tell us about like when you wanted to get so lean and how old you were.
I really didn't want to do that. I
Okay.
did it because I found a book.
Yeah.
It was called in German something performance nutrition, blah blah blah. Yeah, and they were advocating carbohydrates.
Right.
Right. So obviously, I only read the book, like I just flew through the book like
Yeah.
like this.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Didn't really read the book in depth, because otherwise I probably would have known what they meant exactly. But the gist I got was like carbohydrates for performance, and I was a runner. Yeah, I was a long distance runner and I played basketball. So I thought, okay, performance, carbohydrates.
Right.
What can I get as far as carbohydrates? And I was in the youth home, living, what's it called, boarding school.
Right.
And there were apples. They had apples, like big trays of apples. They were free at the cafeteria. You could grab them all day even. So I stocked up on apples, And when I say when I dedicate myself to something, I'm dedicated to something.
You
So I figured
gotta do it.
I'm eating apples because it's carbohydrates.
Right.
And I literally ate 3 times a day, like 20 apples. It's no
Per
joke.
time?
50
Per day? 20
to
apples per day, or like 20 apples per
50
time?
50 to 60 apples a
Oh,
day.
shit.
Yeah.
So you already.
only thing that
I think this is how you taught yourself just to deal with large quantities of simple sugars, right? You run it off, right? The insulin sensitivity stays high, but you probably trained your mitochondria just to purely work on carbohydrates.
And then that's how I did it. And sometimes when that got boring, I started, to make applesauce,
Right.
cook it myself, cook applesauce, because we had a little kitchen there for the students. So I was sitting there, peeling apples. My mom gave me a big like pot from home. I cooked the apples, stirring the apples. I put some cinnamon in it.
That make
Then
it nice.
the breakfast was like had to be fast, so breakfast was like raw apples. Then at night maybe I cooked the applesauce. At noon I did again raw apples, just apples in all, whatever I could come up with apples, but basically it was always apples.
So any protein with that, or dietary
No,
fats?
no, just apples.
So do you think, like, how old were you at that time? Like, what was your age?
I started doing that at 14, and then I got into it. I did it the whole year I was 15. Basically, I did that a year straight. You can say I did it a year straight.
So do you think that tanked your testosterone levels and like fucked with your puberty?
I think so.
Yeah. But you caught up with that after taking some steroids, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, later on. So man, yeah, because I would expect, like, I mean, that's extreme veganism, right? That's you're basically a fruitarian for a year. And I've seen some blood work of fruitarians who've done that for very long periods of time. They eat unlimited bananas, right? And their blood work is crazy. It's like
Yeah.
like 100 tests.
I was pale. I
Mhm.
had like eye sacs, dark.
Yeah,
Yeah, my mom got worried. Everyone got
course.
worried. And my cousin was a personal trainer at a gym. And my mom was like, "Man, you gotta do something with him," because he was in her mind he was jacked.
Right. Yeah, just a normal guy you fit going to the gym, right? Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. He was jacked. Okay,
Mhm. Okay.
in my mom's eyes. So she was like, "Can't you do something with him? Look at him. It's like he looks sick, you know."
Uh-huh.
So I got into bodybuilding that way.
Okay,
You know,
good. Mhm.
I did some weight training in the student, basically little weight room we had.
Right. Gymnasium.
But it's but obviously I didn't say gymnasium because it's just a room.
Is it that bad?
You know,
Huh?
it's literally just a room with
Yeah.
with a bench and barbells.
Right. Oh,
You know,
that's better than nothing.
yeah, but it's not a gymnasium. It's
No.
just a room.
Right.
And but it only made me weaker because I
Yeah,
had
well, no protein.
I was training hard, you
Yeah.
know, for what I knew, but I didn't gain any muscle. I only got because I added that to the running.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So
Didn't
now you're super catabolic, probably.
So I was catabolic. I didn't eat any protein, and then started weightlifting on top of that. So that's the story. And then I ate apples for a year straight because I thought that would help my performance. And the funny thing is, I got so skinny
Yeah.
that the girls in school asked me, "Man, what are you doing? You're getting so lean. You're getting so skinny. What are you doing? I want to do the same thing."
Oh, of course.
And I told them, "Yeah, the only thing I eat is apples."
All these girls lost their periods, probably.
No. The thing is, they thought, well, Roman gets lean eating apples. I'm gonna eat apples
Yeah.
too. But they just ate the apples on top of their food
Oh, that's what I got fat.
because they ate all the cafeteria food.
Yeah.
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 And then like me, because I had, when you have a hoodie, it has the kangaroo
All
back
right.
in
Yeah,
front.
of course. Yeah.
So I would stuff it with apples. Like I was going out of the cafeteria like this, you know?
Yeah.
And they were doing the same thing. All of the girls grabbed like 5, 6 apples, you know? They ate that 3 times a day on top of what they had normally ate in
Oh,
the
man.
cafeteria. So all the girls were like, "Nah, this is not working for me. I don't know why. I'm getting fat."
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Did you ever meet the supplier of the apples to the school? Because he was probably very happy with you that you had such a high turnover of apples at that school. He probably made a fortune off of you.
No, just the chef,
Yeah.
of the school cafeteria.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "What the hell are you doing, man?
I can imagine.
Have some steak. Have
Yeah.
some steak." Like,
Yeah.
no, I can't eat steak.
So
Yeah.
so you did that for a year, and were you like freaking shredded by the age of 16?
I was shredded, but I was when I did it 14 and then to 15, and then I was but I was shredded. But you know how shredded I was? I was like Auschwitz shredded.
Yeah, that's what I just gonna ask. Yeah, Auschwitz. So you're super lean without any
Mm.
muscle, and so you probably like. I mean, I would suspect that you cannibalized all of your adipose tissue away doing that. Because did you
Yeah,
ever get fat after that?
No.
No, that's what I
After that,
figured. Yeah.
I wasn't able. It was just I wasn't able to get fat anymore.
No. So
Yeah.
this like for all the guys out there, if you want to do this, I think it might be better to do it when you're young. Like get fucking shredded. And then the rest of your life, you don't have to worry about it anymore. Because I don't think you can get fat even if you tried.
I have tried,
Yeah.
like really hard.
Yeah.
I only get watery, and whenever I stop trying to get fat,
Yeah.
the water comes out, and I'm shredded again.
Yeah. So that's great. Right? Of all the stupid stuff you can do in your teens, I think that's one of the things that's worth it. Right? Like, so when you started training again with your cousin who was a trainer and you started introducing some protein, did you blow up or did you grow? Like, how was the response in the beginning? Like, did you have like an above average response when you got started with normal eating?
Yeah, he told me, bro, you gotta eat.
Yeah.
This is protein here. This is creatine. Blah
Mm-hmm.
blah blah. And then 9 weeks, gained 10 kilos.
Shit. Yeah. Your
Like
testosterone
like
levels went probably from like 200 to 500 and, everything blows up.
solid kilos.
Mm-hmm.
Solid kilos. Then it got a little slower, but after 6 months, I had about 20 kilos extra.
That's crazy.
He's like, what are you taking?
Yeah.
I said, nothing. It's like, those quads look way too dry, and this lower back looks way too dry. You can't tell me you're not taking anything. It's like, no, I'm taking nothing.
I think it was so
But
depleted and your nutrient partitioning was so good, and it's still good, obviously, that I think everything you ate just went to the muscle. Everything.
but imagine, I started out with 55 kilos body weight.
Oh man, that's a
Then
dumbbell size.
yeah, and then I was 75.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, in
Uh,
6 months, it's insane.
yeah, but the first 10 weeks were the first 9 weeks were gained 10 kilos,
Mm-hmm.
and then I gained the rest in like a 6 month period. But still, 75 is like normal.
That's
Normal
that's a
body.
normal weight, of course. But if you're shredded, I mean, it looks fucking insane. I mean, and especially like, were you as tall as you are now? Like you're
Yeah,
5'10" or 180, right? Or
5'7", yeah.
yeah, yeah,
But I gained those 20 kilos hard, like
yeah.
complete solid mass.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "What are you taking?
Of
You're not,
course.
you're not, you know. Where did you get that from?" It's like, I'm not doing anything.
It's just exceptional newbie gains, right? If you're already so depleted, and then you like maybe you were 65 kilos without the running and the apples, and then you basically gained like 10 kilos you should have had anyway. And then, of course, everybody has their 20-pound, 10-kilo newbie gains. It's the same as what I got, when I started training when I was 15. My mom also signed me up to the gym. A very similar story. She was like, you should go to the gym. You're kind of small. And well, I was skinny fat. I was skinny fat playing video games. So I went to the gym and I gained, I think, also 10 kilos in the first year. I can't remember what my
But
weight was, though. I think it's like,
with the dedication,
Mhm.
he told me I got a book. It was
Mhm.
called the Joe Weider's Bodybuilding System. It's a blue book.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and I got the training program from there. My
Mhm.
cousin said that's fine. You can do that. It was 4 days a week.
Mhm.
It was no more cardio, no more running, nothing, no more
Mhm.
playing basketball. Then I started doing 5 meals a day,
Mhm.
and I had my protein, I had my calories figured out and all that, because the Joe Weider's bodybuilding system said whatever you weigh
Mhm.
times 45 in calories. So I figured, okay, that's what I'm gonna do, and
Is
I'm
that in
just gonna
pounds
eat
or kilos?
kilos.
Let me see if that makes
So
sense.
whatever,
Continue.
it doesn't matter. Dude. That was in the book, so I did.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
like just like
Okay, makes
with the
sense.
app.
Yeah. 4,500 calories if you're 100 kilos.
So
Okay, makes sense.
yeah, so I was 55 kilos. I
Mhm.
figured, okay, this is the amount of calories I have to eat. So I divided that over 5 meals, and I always did like a carbohydrate source,
Mhm.
like bread
Right.
or pasta or rice, for half the calories, and then a protein source for the other half of the calories.
Still no fat.
Yeah, but and then I did one meal that had a little bit of fat in it. So
Mhm.
either a handful of nuts, walnuts, something like that.
Right.
That was my, or in the cafeteria for breakfast, I grabbed 2 whole eggs, something like that.
Yeah, it's
You know?
better than nothing. Yeah. it's a good start.
So that was my starting point with the calories, 50-50 protein carbs. And whenever I gained weight, I would up the number to meet 45.
Dude, so
You know,
it's fucking amazing that you figured that out when you were 16, because most guys, like, I think I started piecing this together when I was 19. You're like caloric adjustments based on your body weight and energy expenditure. So I think you had a head start, man, out of so many people, because you were already regimented for early on.
that was just my logic.
Yeah.
You know, it
No, but
said
it makes
you want
total sense, dude. I mean, how much information did we have at that time, right? I mean, I had to go to the
to.
library to get this information also.
I had this one book. It
Yeah.
was, and that one, I followed that. Then I did the training program 4 days a week, and all the other 3 days I did nothing, just studied for school and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's how I gained the first 10 kilos in 9 weeks. And then I just took it from there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was it.
So how did you get up to 110 kilos then? Because from 75 to 100 kilos, that's an even bigger jump. Like at one point,
I,
steroids came into picture, right? And then performance enhancing drugs and that kind of stuff. Like, what is the background there?
I just continued that until I was like 95 kilos.
So 95
And I
kilos,
was,
lean, natural.
hmm hmm
I would say that's
and I looked,
very good genetics.
I
Yeah.
looked good. I looked good at 95,
Yeah, I
you
can
know?
imagine. Yeah.
And then I was like, I was following Lee Priest,
Mm-hmm.
Big Priest. And he said in a video that his first cycle was 200 milligrams of Deca every week. So one shot of Deca every
Right.
week.
Yeah.
So I went out into the city of Munich, into a big gym,
Looking for
into a
Deca.
big gym, yeah. And I trained there. And one day there was one guy in there. We were both at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
and no one else was in the gym.
Right.
So I figured, this is my chance. I'm gonna ask this guy. I said, "Hey man, blah blah blah." He's like, "Oh, you look good, man. You look good." Yeah, I had the World Gym stringer tank top like Lee
All right.
Priest in
Yeah, of
his
course. Yeah.
video. I ordered that from the US just to have the same stringer. Or my mom ordered it.
Mm-hmm.
I did not with her credit card.
Yeah, of course. They're too young for that stuff.
Yeah. And then I was like, "Man, can you get me some stuff?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah, I can. Yeah, you look good. You know." It's like, and I told him, all I need is 10 ampules of Deca.
He probably laughed his ass off. It's the same what I
Mhm.
did, dude. But continue. Yeah, continue.
So he got me the 10 ampules of Deca, and I took one every week.
Yeah.
In those 10 weeks, I went from 95 to 105.
That's insane.
Again, I was like, man, this is awesome.
Yeah, of
You know?
course.
And then I did my first show,
Mm-hmm.
and I dieted down to 94.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I did two shows. I won the one, and I won one show, and in the other show I placed fifth.
Mm-hmm.
I won the state title overall in the junior class, and then I won the. Then I took fifth in the German nationals in the junior class.
And that was on
But I
Nandrolone
was only
only. Just Nandrolone.
no, the prep was test probe.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but I did the 10 weeks of the Deca.
Mm-hmm.
Then I stopped taking everything and anything. Just stopped taking it.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably like a half a year later, or a couple of months later, I started prepping for this contest season.
Right.
And then I weighed 94 in the first show and 92 2 weeks later in the German nationals.
Right.
But at that point, I just turned 18. So my birthday is April 13th,
Mm-hmm.
and the Bavaria show, my state title, was on April 30th.
Mm-hmm.
And the German nationals was on May 8th.
Ah.
So I was just, or May 7th, something like that, or 5th, I don't somewhere around there. So that's a week difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was my first
Nice.
show then.
Nice work. And you got second.
I won the state title
Mm-hmm.
overall, and in Germany I was 5th.
Oh, fifth. Okay.
But the junior class, goes up to 21.
Yeah. So, but you were one of the youngest then.
I was supposed to do it's called not even juniors. It's youth. Youth
Oh,
is one
youth.
lower.
Yeah, that's what Arnold Schwarzenegger used to do. The Jugend bodybuilding.
Yeah, exactly, Jugend.
Yeah.
And they told me, yeah, you can do the Jugend class. I was like, how many are in that class? It's like, yeah, you would put your only one.
Fuck.
It's like, oh, that's boring.
Yeah, that's boring. Put me in
That's
the big
boring.
class.
I want to be in the other class. Yeah. Because can you imagine me going back to the boarding school when the weekend is over and like, oh man, I won. And they're like, how many people in the show? It's like, I was the only one. They would have laughed at me.
Hey, dude, some people win and they put IFBB Pro on their Instagram page and they're proud, even though they're the only person in the class. Nowadays, it doesn't matter, but I get what you mean, right? I mean, it would be embarrassing.
I couldn't go back to the boys telling them I won.
No.
But then I still won, the state title.
Yeah.
And I took 5th in Germany. That was good.
Yeah, that's fucking good. I mean, 92 kilos at 18 years old on your second cycle. That's fucking insane, dude. That's fucking insane.
I look pretty good, I think.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. And then, of course, it took some time to get your pro card, and you had some trouble getting your pro card, right, in the beginning.
Yeah, I had to do it 3 times, man.
Yeah,
I won the world championships when I was 21. That should have. Then I said, "Nah, I can't take the pro card because I'm not good enough." So
yeah, you were a little bit self-torturing, I think, in the beginning because you did like the ketogenic diet, and you didn't have so much confidence, and I mean, I think it took a couple of years for you to really come into your own, right? Where you just ate good food and showed up fucking full. Because in the beginning, you just wanted to come in super peeled.
Yeah, you know what I did when I actually won the German nationals? I thought, well, I'm gonna get shredded. What's the fastest way to get shredded? Not eat any carbs.
Oh shit!
So, and then I for 3 weeks straight, 3 weeks, I ate tilapia.
Just fish.
Tilapia fish.
Yeah.
And water. Tilapia
Roman.
and water.
What are you doing?
And black pepper.
Yeah, some lemon.
Yeah. No, not lemon. Lemon would have
been carbs. Yeah.
So that was the 2 foods I ate: water and tilapia and pepper. I don't know if that's a food. Black pepper.
Yeah, it's good for it's good to absorb. Like pepperine can help you absorb oral steroids and some supplements.
Yeah, but I didn't take any supplements.
All right. Just fish and water and pepper. Yeah.
Yeah.
So back on the Auschwitz diet.
Exactly. Then and some test probe, and I got a hold of 1 bottle of Mastron and Enthate.
Yeah, this is back in the day for everybody to understand. This is back in the day when availability of steroids was fucking difficult. Right? You knew 1 guy or 2 guys, and that's it. In Europe, we didn't have mail order stuff in Europe. That came later.
I think I paid $200 for the 1 bottle.
Yeah. So what can you do? Like the higher dosages, you can do that when you actually start making some serious money.
So I did that, and then I won, and I was the most shredded person in the show. I was a junior still, but even the men, no one was more shredded than I was.
Right. So which years are we talking about? This is the early 2000s?
This is 2008.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that's not too long ago, 15 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And then a year later, I did the 2009, I did the World Championships. I went at the German Nationals the year before. I waited at I had to do the state title again, so the Bavarian Championships. I was 83.
Oh, that's 10 kilos down, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Yeah. Then I figured, man, you got to put some carbs back in. So I put some carbs back in. 2 weeks later, I was 86.
Okay.
Right. And then a year later, at the World Championships, I was like, because I had the whole year, I had like a rebound.
Right.
You know, the rebound phase everyone talks about. Because I was really that. So I had a plan.
Yeah.
I had a plan. I wrote an article of Milos
Yeah.
in Flex magazine with the intra workout.
Yeah.
I did all that without just dextrose and
Right.
EAAs.
Well, it works. Still works if you're young, you know.
Yeah. And a year later, I weighed in at the nationals and then at the World Championships clean. I had to pass the drug
you have to
test.
pass the drug test. Yeah.
100.5 kilos.
Fuck. So you were probably like 110 before you started cutting the drugs, or 108.
I was, something like that.
Yeah.
But I remember I started dieting for the show in the off season. I was 120.
Oh wow. So you really gained a lot of size then, and that's probably just 120 kilos watery, right? With minimal body fat.
Yeah, that was what. Then the water, all the water flew off. Then I was like you said, 108 or something like that. And then I had to, because I heard Dorian Yates say in an interview that he always wanted people to see his kidneys working.
Yeah.
Get that. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do, Dorian.
Yeah, I think many times you over diet it, and then of course if you have to pass the drug test at the World Championships, you take, you start timing the drugs. I mean, it's very easy and well known how to do that. But by the time you step on stage, I mean, you've lost a lot of size,
Yeah. Then I was 100.5.
Still big. I mean, it's still over the 100 kilo class.
Yeah. Then I won the overall.
Yeah.
And then it went a little bit downhill from there, because then I was hiring coaches and all that shit, and I stopped doing my own thing.
Yeah.
Listening. I did all that. Oh, you got to do this now. You got to do that now. And everything went shit for a while, but then I got myself back together in like 2013 and 14. Then I was like, again, with all the coaches, oh, you got to, now that you're a pro card, this, that.
Yeah, I think a lot of IFBB pros seem to lose themselves. What I see in the amateur circuits, as soon as these guys turn pro, they sign up with a big name coach, and then they don't really show up good. And I think it's the pressure, because basically when you turn pro, you have to start at the bottom again, right? Now you have to prove yourself. And I think a lot of guys are like, oh shit, now I got to put on another 20 pounds, 10 kilos. But in reality, all you need to do is just keep going at the same pace.
Keep going. Yeah. And the weight would have come on.
Anyway, right? Just like it came on leading into the pro card. So I think you don't have to do anything super crazy. Right? You just need to take a year and kind of reassess how big you want to show up at your first show. And then I think now people are starting to realize that. But back then, like in the early 2000s, 2010s, again, social media has only been something of the last couple of years. You talk with people in private, but you don't really realize, what other coaches are doing, what could be possible. So I think you kind of, paved the last couple of years, your success is mostly through self-experimentation, which works for you. Right?
And to this day, if someone asks, what would you tell a beginner, or what was your biggest mistake? My biggest mistake was listening to other people.
Yeah.
over my own better judgment. Because there was many a times when I thought I should do this, and then someone told me, no, you're a pro now, you got to do blah blah blah, or to compete with the real pros. Like I wasn't a real pro.
You were a pro.
You have
the top 5 pros.
to compete with the real pros, this is what you have to do. And I figured, really? Well, man, maybe I'm not a real pro, so I think I should do whatever. Yeah.
So what kind of advice are we talking about? Like not naming any names, but it's just like the weird stuff that we as the audience kind of hear through the grapevine, like the injectable adenosine monophosphate and the insulin loading before getting on stage and high dosages of Tren. Like, give us some examples. Like, well, what kind of silly advice is being thrown around?
It was mainly nutrition and training.
Okay.
It was like, I train my way, like high volume twice a day,
Right.
and I have fun doing it and doing the exercises I like to do, and I like eating the foods that I like to eat. Like I'm not big into eating a lot of fat with every meal, and I like training a lot, and that fucking worked. And it worked this year and worked last year perfectly. Like clockwork.
And you've been doing that since you were 15, so that's what your body is used to.
Exactly. But then people came along during the way. They were like, man, you got to cut down your carbs way lower, and you got to eat way more fat. Make me look worse.
Yeah. I remember that period.
Although I had to take on the calories.
Yeah. No, but the nutrient partitioning is different, right? So, and the insulin sensitivity might get ruined. So,
and oh man, you're training way too much. You have to cut down to blah blah blah, this and that, and limit your sets. And it's like I did that, looked worse.
Yeah.
Didn't grow, didn't make any progress. And all those, I had to go through those experiences at least 3 times, to really make it stick that it doesn't work.
Yeah. Right.
And each time takes like it's not like that I'm doing it for 2 weeks because
but you follow through. Yeah, you said it takes 2 years sometimes.
Exactly. And then you lose at least, it was always 6 months to a year where I went through a period like that. And then you fuck up, you realize, oh, this was shit.
Yeah. But you lost 6 months.
And you have to, exactly. And then you have to get back to your old state, which is another 6 months.
Yeah, you can't go back to eating 1,500 carbs from one day to the next. I mean, you need to build that up. It takes time.
I remember when I did when I dieted for the year, when I was still doing my own stuff in 2010. So 1 year after the World Championships, I did my depletion. My depletion phase a week before the show was 700 carbs.
Yeah.
That's like 700.
It's unheard of. Yeah. If you talk to anybody else besides maybe a couple guys, they'll see like you're crazy. But dude, if it works, right? If you're depleting on 700, then that's what it's going to be.
And after that, everything went to shit for a while. Then I got my shit back together in like 2 years later.
Yeah.
So I won the pro card for the 3rd time. Then I thought again, oh man, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this. So I struggled until like 2015. At the end of 2015, I caught myself again. Had a great showing in 2016 at the Tampa
Yeah,
Pro.
I remember that. 4th. Yeah.
And then again, had to go through the blah 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 shit. And it was back and forth with. And now I'm not going to listen to anyone again. I'm not going to listen to anyone. I'm just going to do my thing. I know what works. If I need some advice, if I want advice, I'm asking for advice.
Yeah.
Someone like you, for example.
Right.
And these days, you don't even have to ask anyone for advice. You just go on their website.
Yeah, just go to the YouTube because it's all out there anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that people that don't even ask me, just Google and there's probably a video about it, my YouTube or Chase has something or Paul has something, right? Plenty of other educators. Like, I think at this point, the only thing you need to do is just stay true to yourself. The only advice I could give you was to do less shows so you don't tire yourself out.
That was,
That's the only advice
you
I would
know,
give you.
you know why I did the 10 shows?
Yeah.
Because I had the hip replacement planned
Right. So you wanted to
before.
get all the points, right?
So no, I figured, if this is my last one, I don't know if something will go wrong. If my last run, I'm really running.
True.
I'm running it to the ground this
Shit.
time. You know?
I'm gonna earn that hip replacement.
Mm-hmm. If I'm giving that hip back, man, I'm giving it back huge.
Yeah.
You know?
I get it. I get it. Yeah, so 10 shows. I mean, I really like a couple of the shows where you look really, really good. And then the weird thing is, again, like we discussed earlier, you started looking progressively better, but they brought you down. But again, that could be because you already got your Olympia qualifications and they wanted to get some other people on board. Right? That's, with the IFBB sometimes, or at least it's the feeling I get. Yeah, like, okay, they want
It was fun.
more.
And I learned so much, man. I learned so much. Sorry. I learned so much and it was fun and I got stage experience, and right at the end it just felt like a guest posing, when I got on stage.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, Japan is
I was
fun.
so-
I'm sure the audience was great. Like Japanese people are very
yeah,
vocal.
it was really good. I'm glad I did it.
Yeah. Yeah. What else did you do in
You know?
Japan? Because I remember we had a conversation and I told you to remember to have fun because Japan there's so much cool stuff to do. Like, what did you do after the show?
Yeah, we did all the Pokemon centers and Nintendo store.
Yeah.
All that.
It's crazy. Did you go eat sushi buffets and all this?
Yeah, all of course.
Yeah.
Everything you have to do, we just checked off the list.
Yeah, Japan is a lot of fun. It's like going to another planet. It's like literally like getting into one of those sci-fi movies, especially at night with all the lights.
Yeah, when we were driving through the streets,
Uh-huh.
of Tokyo,
It's crazy, huh?
my wife and I were both like, "Oh, this looks fake, like in a movie."
Uh-huh. You had a very lengthy podcast with Chase Irons. Right? You discussed what IFB pros are doing, what you're doing, and that kind of stuff. And then I think Fuad Abiat watched part of that, and he didn't really agree with some of the things that you said. But I can't really remember what it was, so I don't want to put words in his mouth. But like, you were pretty open that some of the pros were lying about what they're taking and doing, and then people are downplaying their dosages, and that there's really no need because again, if people are just open and truthful, then at least people know what to expect, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yeah. Well, what do you think? Do you think like there should be a little bit of restraint from the IFB pros, like most of the pros do, or some of them don't even talk about it? Or do you think that the transparency will ultimately pick up and is not only restricted to guys like me? Because I don't have sponsors or pro cards to lose. But when some of the pros open up, like I see Jay Cutler, for example, now in retirement, finally starting to open up. As long as Milo Sarcev is there to kind of egg him on, then he's opening up about dosages and stuff and doing cycles. And he's very nonchalant about it. That's sort of like, I did this or whatever and that or whatever. It's super funny. But like besides you and maybe Milos, like how many other IFBB pros actually talk about this stuff openly? Like, because I don't really hear Fuad Abiad talk about it, even though I think he should, because, he had some health ramifications. So maybe he can educate people on what not to do. But maybe he also doesn't want to bring that to the forefront. I'm not sure.
My opinion is you should, if you're not, this is the thing. You either choose to talk about it or you choose not to talk about it. And if you talk about it, tell the truth. If you don't want to talk about it, don't say anything. Just say nothing.
You plead the Sam Sulek approach, which I think is smart.
Yeah. If you don't want to talk about it, say, I don't want to talk about it. That's it. Yeah. But if you start talking about it, then tell the truth. Don't come up with idiotic stories about like minimal dosages and stuff like that. Just don't. Just leave it.
No,
you
that's
know.
what I agree. Also,
Bef-
like some of the younger educators out there, like Chris Bumstead, Sam Sulek, right? They're reasonably younger, sub 30, and they got massive followings, right? And Sam Sulek just doesn't talk. He doesn't say that he's natural, but he also doesn't talk about steroids. I think that's fine, right? I mean, nobody can ever blame him for claiming natural, but I guess he doesn't want to talk about it because it's not good for the algorithm and it's not good for his audience because they will inevitably copy him, right? But our audience is a little bit older and hopefully a little bit wiser, and they know what goes on. So I never had a problem opening up after Boston Lloyd and Tony Huge and Rich Piana all went on YouTube and started talking about openly, because I felt there was a huge gap in actual real steroid education. Right? It's still, there's only a handful of guys who really are good at the steroid education part. Right. And then, I think an entire community can learn from that because the transparency is just non-existent, dude, which pisses me off. Like if there's
yeah,
2 3 IFB pros who openly talk about it, and a handful of other steroid educators, um, you can basically count it on two hands. 10 people that are really doing it frequently. So, and I think that's a shame.
that's
That's a
right.
shame because there's so much more to learn. There's so much more that can be done for safer practices, but also how to use, if you go higher dosages, how to do that properly. Because otherwise, you have to figure it out on your own. Because, like you said, some of the coaches
Yeah,
have weird approaches.
yeah, and then you end up with kidney issues and liver
Yeah,
issues and all that because you never handled your blood pressure or you cause diabetes or something
yeah.
like that.
And this is stuff that we kind of don't hear about, but we secretly know. Like I can name 20 pros that have kidney issues.
Yep.
Unfortunately,
Yep.
and they don't want to talk about it at all, which I think it's a shame because I mean I talked about all the mistakes that I made on my YouTube channel, and sometimes you get some hate for it. You shouldn't have done this, you shouldn't have done that, but I mean there was nobody else kind of teaching this kind of stuff, so you experiment.
Yep.
So what kind of stuff have you done that you regretted, that you thought was like absolutely not necessary? Like I've taken DNP, I've taken all these weird experimental compounds that in hindsight, I don't know what I was doing, right? But yeah, you kind of open up Pandora's box.
I think I never did anything that I said, oh man, if I hadn't done that, it would be way
Okay.
better.
Mhm.
Oh, I did.
Okay.
I did. I tried shooting my arms with
Oh
Synthol,
no.
and it looked good
Yeah.
first. But then I think I didn't do it for a long
Mhm.
time. Yeah, at first it looked good, and maybe by the fifth shot into my tricep, so fifth shot
Mhm.
in, I think I just overdid it, and my tricep was really like blown up and
Yeah.
tense. And I'm warming up on the bench
Oh
machine,
no.
on the
Here we
bench press,
go.
and I do like a light set, like light, and all of a sudden, POW! Like, oh fuck! And my elbow hurt for
Yeah.
months, like
The micro tear.
months. Now I think I tore like this tendon a little
Yeah.
bit, like
Shit.
you know.
Because it was so tight, huh?
Oh yeah, and it was horrible, man. I had elbow pain. I couldn't train chest. I couldn't even do biceps properly,
Fuck.
you know. And I couldn't even like lat pull downs, anything that would kind of or pull over
Mhm.
machine, anything that would put tension on the triceps for months I was
Well, which
handicapped.
kind of Synthol did you use?
You
Was
know,
that the old one, the painless pumps, or the new stuff with the hyaluronic acid and
Boston Lloyd, Boston Lloyd,
Boston Lights?
three,
Yeah, that was pretty potent stuff.
Formula, the Formula 3
Yeah,
one with silica in
yeah,
it.
yeah. That stays in there. Yeah, that stays.
I did like 4 or 5. I was all excited, man. I'm finally gonna get some big arms, and
Shit. Yeah, it sounds scary as hell. Hey, you're one of the few guys who actually openly talked about using Increlex, and I was one of the lucky few recently to source some Increlex myself. And I've had I went through a vial of 40 milligrams. Right, I was settling on 500 micrograms per day. Now on me, it's totally wasted because I'm off cycle for close to a year. Right, so all I got was some fullness, some pumps. So it felt like I was on TRT without actually taking TRT. But you've experimented with it at your peak, right? When you were actually, like large and in charge and doing steroid cycles with it. So what is your personal experience with Increlex? Because everybody thinks it's like the some sort of magical, unattainable Joker card.
Remember when I said the heaviest weight I competed at was 122,
Yeah.
and then 3 months later there was only, so my competition season, let's say it like that, my competition season lasted about 6 months for the 10 shows.
Yeah.
And the heaviest I competed at was 122. The lightest was like 113. Yeah. And I ran out of Increlex like right in the middle.
Oh. So imagine how big you were. So what was your protocol at the time? Like you had access to a couple bottles of Increlex, and
I
like
just
what was
did
the process?
every day. I did a milligram every day.
Milligram every day, yeah. Intramuscular, sub-Q, rotating.
Intramuscular,
Like what was
intramuscular in whatever muscle I was training.
right?
500 per workout, so twice a day, and I split it up 250, 250.
Okay, yeah. So that's the same what I did, 250, 250, but I train once per day. Yeah.
Mhm.
And what were your results besides the wallet just falling on the floor and being empty?
You
It's fucking
immediately
expensive.
you take it, and then you immediately get you get harder, bigger, fuller, just everything,
Yeah.
just. And I think it's probably a good idea to take it when you're dieting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it keeps you full and it sucks all the fat in, it seems.
Yeah, and the conversion of the test of the GH to IGF-1 takes estrogen, right?
Yeah, you need at least in the liver. Yeah, in the liver.
Yeah.
And then the autocrine system, I mean, it's, of course, the evidence is a little bit thin, but like the maximum conversion of growth or the production of IGF-1 requires a little bit of estrogen. But if you're prepping and towards the end you bring your estrogen down, then you don't get so much conversion anymore and you lose some of the fullness from the growth hormone. Now, some guys would overcompensate and then go from 12 IUs to 15 IUs to 18 IUs and sustain some of the fullness. But the nutrient partitioning effect from the IGF-1 gets less. So I would rather run IGF-1 LR3 alongside the GH, especially towards the end. Or Increlex. But now it's available, but I've been searching for it for 15 years. And then I found a local guy. It was like, yeah, I got 50 boxes. So I bought, I bought a lot. And I hooked a couple of friends of mine up because it's a couple $100 per box, right? So not everybody can afford that. So I made sure that it sold out quite fast. And then now, unfortunately, some of the websites started selling Increlex also, but it seems that when you order it online, it shows up cloudy, so it's denatured. Yeah, and that's a couple $100 that you lose per box, so that sucks. So I would never recommend people to order it online. Like I believe you got it from the pharmacy at that time, right? In Germany.
Yeah, it's like 900 something.
Yeah. Yeah, I paid a little bit less than that. But still, when you calculate it down to a day, right, even if you pay 900 euros, yeah, you divide it by 40. So you pay 23 euros per day, basically. But that's also something you would spend on growth hormone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So in that sense, it's pretty similar. So you had one stint with it, or you've used it multiple times?
I just did the one.
The one
worked great.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I do. Well, it's if you ever come to Thailand, I might have more.
Okay, good.
I might have more in the fridge, allegedly in the fridge. Yeah, it's. I found it very surprising, the effects. I find it very surprising, but it's it seems to be so scarce. I think James Hollings had talked about it, that he ran it for one prep, um, and that's about it. Everybody else is just fantasizing.
Jordan Peters, of course.
Oh, Jordan Peters also. Oh, really? Oh, last time I talked
Yeah.
about to him, I think he was looking for it, but it's been a while since we talked.
I saw a post to him. It was a while ago,
Hmm.
and he always wrote down what he took, and then he said,
Ah,
"Yeah, I'm looking like this, blah blah blah. I might have some water, but the water will dissipate once I drop the Increlex." It said the text was something like that.
oh, okay. So you just mentioned it in passing. It's funny because I started doing some videos about Increlex, and not half, but a good amount of IFB pros actually contacted me, to get it. And I spoke to a good amount of other IFB pros who talked about it, that they used it themselves and had great results. But again, it seems to be a very niche compound that, I don't know, sometimes it's available and then everybody scoops up whatever supply is there. But yeah, it's if anybody comes to Thailand that I like, then yeah, I might have some spare. No worries. You thought about coming to Thailand at one point, right? You were in talk with Sebastian Marshberger,
Yeah.
and he said like 1 or 2 years ago that you were thinking about it. So like when your mobility is good and your YouTube revenue is like really kicking in, are we going to see some Thailand vlogs?
Yeah, why not? Why not? I'm not saying no. Just right now, once I gotta get my hip issue resolved, and then
Oh yeah, take time, dude. It's going to take a couple months. You need to be mobile here because the roads are so bad in Thailand that you need to be mobile and feel 100% confident. Because I mean, otherwise you won't survive in Bangkok or any of the other cities. It's a mess here.
I have one good friend over here.
Mhm.
He is going to move to Thailand, like
Oh
exclusively.
really?
He's gonna stay there. Yeah.
Where's he
He made a
going?
lot of money. I don't know exactly, but he made a lot of
Okay.
money, and now he's like, I'm out of here. No more
Yeah, that's
Germany.
that's how it should be. I mean, if you have some affiliates and what we discussed earlier, if you have some good revenue streams, you can come live here for a couple months, right? And then you and your friend are lucky that you have a network here already. Like you got me, you got Sebastian, maybe some other Germans that are hanging out in Pattaya. So the starting up process is very easy because I can put you in touch with my network, right? And Sebastian can put you in touch with his network. So you hit the ground running, right? You don't have to figure shit out. So we have a great bodybuilding community here.
If anything, my plan would be just to buy a piece of real estate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that I have
In
like
Thailand,
yeah.
that I
How
would
do you do
advise
it?
against. So you
Oh,
would have
okay,
to.
good.
I would
Yeah.
advise against that, unless you want to marry a Thai woman. But I think you're already, you got your hands full already.
Hmm.
So you can open up a company here, and then shuttle some money in. But you'll need to hire 3 Thai staff, who are going to be majority shareholders. So you own 49% of the company, and they own 51%. So you're in the disadvantage there. And then the company can buy land, and the company can buy a house on top of that land. But technically, you only own 49% on paper. So the law is kind of against you there. And with a lawyer, you can kind of make it airtight that the nominees of the Thai company that own 51% can never take the rest of it, right? That's not in their share. But still, it's so much paperwork to the point it might not be worth it to really own a house and land unless you're married, and then basically the wife owns it.
So you just rent all the time?
No, and so my wife owns the house and the
Are
land,
you so
right? It's
you did
but we're
you did everything?
married, so there's a
Yeah.
different there's a different setup
No,
there, right? But
yeah, yeah.
if you come here as a foreigner and you want to own some land, and you have to set up a company and involve 3 Thai people. Now there's only 1 Thai person involved. That's my wife.
Okay.
Yeah, so it makes it very complicated. But dude, if you want to rent something nice, and you can always move around. I think you shouldn't come here and buy stuff if you're not sure where you want to settle down. You just move around. 3 months in Pattaya, 3 months in Bangkok, 3 months in Phuket, 3 months in
And
Chiang
cheap,
Mai,
right?
Chiang Rai.
Cheap.
For bodybuilders, it's not really cheap. Because we
Oh,
have needs. We need to eat a lot of protein. We need to eat a lot of
but I mean
carbs.
the rent, just the rent.
Rent can be cheap. Yeah, I mean it can be as little as $100 to I don't know $3,000, $5,000 even. Depends on what you want. Yeah, it depends on what you want.
Yeah.
Sky's the limit basically. So like I think Thailand is a great place at least to hang out for a couple months out of the year, and then if you like it, you like the people, and you like the network, then eventually you can settle, right? And Thailand is pretty close to the rest of the world, especially Dubai. So look into it. Yeah, look into it, man.
Yeah, we're going to
travel a bit, but not for shows. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks so much for coming on. This was absolutely great. Thanks so much. Thanks for keeping everything honest. I mean, we highly appreciate honesty in our space of steroid education, and we need more guys like you at the top that are actually willing to talk about it.
I'm actually not honest because this was all hypothetical.
I was all right. It's hypothetical for educational and entertainment purposes
Only.
Yeah. You got your disclaimer also on YouTube?
No, not yet. Should
I? Take my disclaimer, because when you start blowing up, then otherwise you can't monetize the stuff.
Okay.
And why make so many videos if you can't monetize it, right?
Thank you. I'll take yours.
Yeah, just take mine. Where can people find you on social media?
My name on Instagram is just Robin Fritz.
Mm-hmm.
I think my YouTube channel is called Robin Fritz also.
Easy. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I have a website with merchandising, where I sell the coaching and t-shirts and all that. It's called Rextreme, like Extreme.de for Germany.
.de. Okay, cool. I'll put all the links down below, guys, if you want to give Roman Fritz a follow. All right, everything is in English, so you can easily follow along.
Yeah.
No more excuses not to subscribe. Thanks so much for coming on, man. This was great. And keep in touch. I hope to see you over here in Thailand, and then we'll go plunder my fridge. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Take care, buddy.
You.
See ya. Ciao.